ego where it's just like, let me just sit here and like pet me.
Yeah, you like, yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that does is
Oh my gosh, like a BuzzFeed.
I know, I love her. They are not. Where it's on your right. Can you do that? I just need to use kindergarten floor because that's the address that I have. Oh, yeah. I want to change it. Yeah, my son wants
All right, everyone, hello. Shabbat Shalom. Hine matov manai, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov manai, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov manai, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov manai, shevet achim gam yachad. Welcome, everyone. We all will open your mock source to page 14. We'll get going. We'll start with Mizmor Shir. We'll read the first line, and then we'll read silently. We'll end with the last four lines we'll sing sort of together. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat. Tzadikata hama yifrach ke'erez bavanon yiskeh shetulim b'veit Adonai b'chatzrot Eloheinu yahafrichu o yenuvun b'seva v'shenim v'rananim yiyu l'hagid ki yashar Adonai to hu rivelo havlata bo. I'm going to ask, I think, Kay to come up. There. You read a song for Shabbat. It's on page 15. It's the translation. We'll read it responsively.
It is good to give you thanks, O Lord, to sing your praise, exalted God.
To proclaim your love each morning, to tell of your faithfulness each night with the sounds of instrumental music.
Your works, O Lord, make me glad. I sing with joy of your creation.
How intricate your works, O Lord. Your designs are beyond our grasp.
The thoughtlessness cannot comprehend, the foolish cannot fathom this.
The wicked may flourish, they may spring up like grass, but their doom is forever sealed. For you are supreme forever.
Your enemies, Lord, your enemies shall perish. All the wicked shall be scattered.
But you have greatly exalted me. I am as anointed with fragrant oil. I have
seen the downfall of my foes. I have heard the doom of my attackers.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. They shall thrive like the cedar of Lebanon.
Planted in the house of the Lord, they shall flourish in the courts of our God.
They shall bear fruit even in old age. They shall be ever fresh and fragrant.
They shall proclaim, the Lord is just. He is my rock. There is no flaw in him.
Thank you. If you'll turn the page 16. I will read in Hebrew, and then we'll read the translation together responsibly in English. Adonai malach ge'ut lavesh. Lavesh Adonai oz hit azar. Af tikon tevel bal timot. Nachon kisacha meaz meolam ata. Nasun harot Adonai. Nasun harot kolam. Yisun harot dachyam. Mikolot mayim rabim adirim mishbereyam. Adir b'marom Adonai. Etotecha ne'emnu meod. Levetcha ne'avad kodesh Adonai le'orech yamim. We'll go to page 17. The Lord is king, crowned with splendor. The Lord reigns, robed in strength. His kingdom stands from earliest time. He is eternal. Above the waves of the raging sea, awesome is the Lord our God. I'm going to ask Brett to come up and read on page 19 responsively.
In your image did you fashion us, and you are obliged to be with us.
Thus we can worship you. We can ask your forgiveness.
And we can hold you responsible. We can struggle with you for all that seems unjust and ugly.
We can contend with you. We can refrain from resembling you. We can reject what we do not understand.
And we can turn to you more fervently, bound in gratitude.
Because you set the succession of seasons, change the day's divisions, arrange the stars in the sky, create day and night.
We are overwhelmed by the wonder of the world and by the power of reason you have given us.
We are grateful for our dreams, our hopes, even our illusions, which constantly return, and our soul so beautiful, which death cannot touch.
God of the faithless, God of the faithful, and God of the faithful.
God in all forms and formless, who was and is and will be. You are the Lord eternal. Thank you. I want to take a moment and pause as we sort of enter the actual Mariv service, the service that really begins Erev Rosh Hashanah. We're going to start with the Baruch Hu in a second. But first of all, I'm glad to see everyone. I know that it's a heavy temptation to go home. Not even a very good football game this weekend, keeping people here. So I'm glad to see a crowd. It's important, I think, that we, and I'll talk about this in a little bit, gather together as one Jewish community. I think it's a nice show of unity. It's nice to have a community here among 6,500 Jewish students who we can gather and be Jewish together in one space. It is something that I know we don't always get, where we live often in a non-Jewish world, and this is nice to gather together. So if everyone will please rise for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bivaro ma'ariv aravim b'chokhmah patech she'arim u'v'munah mishnei itim u'machalif et hazmanim u'msader kochavim b'mishperotehem b'rakei keretzona. B'yom v'layla golel or michnei choshek michnei or ma'avir yom u'mevi layla ma'avdil ben yom u'vein layla. Adonai tzvaot shemo. Achai v'kayam tamidim lo chavim leilam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. We'll sing together at the bottom of the page. This is Ahavat Olam, which is the second blessing after the before the Shema. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Avta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadita Al kein Adonai Eloheinu v'shachveinu uvkumeinu Nasiach bechukecha, v'nisbach b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayeinu, v'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla. V'yavatka al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amoho Yisrael. Which brings us now to the Shema. And those of you who have been here for a Shabbat service this semester have heard me say this before. But this is the critical prayer in Judaism. It is the prayer that affirms our belief in God and one God. And it's a prayer for which we'll all rise as one. For some people, if you can rise, please. For some people, it is your custom to cover your eyes during the Shema, to block out all distractions so that your intention is focused entirely on the words you are saying. If that is your custom, please feel free, but we will rise as one and say together, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Silently. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, v'chol levavcha, v'chol nafshecha, v'chol meotecha, v'hayu advarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom alevavecha, v'shinatam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uvlechtecha v'derech, uvshachbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. We could read the next two paragraphs to yourself silently. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Please be seated. We will sing together. If you go to page 26, we'll sing Micha Mocha. Once again, as for much of this, I've been thinking about this. There's no way that we have sort of modern Jewish music without Debbie Friedman. We'll hear a couple of Debbie Friedman songs tonight, but this is certainly one of them. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Join in with me if you know it already. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la. say Mary with me, Chamocha. Chamocha ba'eli Adonai. Chamocha neder b'kunet. Rata hilo do sefer. Rata hilo do sefer. We'll repeat that once together. Chamocha ba'eli Adonai. Chamocha neder b'kunet. Rata hilo do sefer. Rata hilo do sefer. Thank you. The next thing we're going to do is Vishamra. And I wanted to take a moment here because I was thinking about it. A lot of these prayers, of course, are in Hebrew. Not everyone reads Hebrew, not everyone speaks Hebrew. If you are reading and you want to read in English, if there's no transliteration, prayers count the same. I encourage you to pray with whatever language it is that speaks to you. We are going to sing together Vishamra. And then we're going to take a little bit of a break from the service. We're going to hear the shofar blown, which is not something we would normally do on a Friday night, but I think it's important. I'll talk about that in a second. But if everyone will sing with me Vishamru, which is on page 28. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lahasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam b'rit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lahasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam b'rit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lahasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam b'rit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lahasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam b'rit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vaynafash Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lahasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam b'rit olam. I'm going to ask Sam Mark to come up. We're going to blow the shofar. The blessings, as we're going to turn to page 204. I've noticed something over the last few weeks that we've done Vishamru. Even those people who don't put that break in, by the second time around, there's just silence during that break. Everyone picks up on it quickly. Good? So page 204 are the blessings for blowing the shofar. I'm not even on page 204 yet. This is going to be a slightly modified shofar blowing. Like I said, we do not blow the shofar on Shabbat. But since Shabbat does not start for another 22 minutes, I thought that it was important. This is one of the main things that we all associate with the holiday of Rosh Hashanah. And I thought that it was important for us to all, as one community, hear the shofar blown. So we will do a slightly modified one after the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar. All right, one time. This is what. Tekiah, 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 Shivarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Teruah, Tekiah, Tekiah Gedolah. Good job. As we were going over that with Sam and I were talking about this earlier, Sam told me, first of all, he's a trumpeter, so his breath control is quite good. I told him he is not to pass out during Tekiah Gedolah. But he also told me that he, as a trumpeter, knows how to circular breathe. And for those who don't know, that means he could theoretically play the note for half hour. I told him not to. I didn't think anybody really wanted that. Didn't seem like the vibe for the service. I wanted to talk for a little bit before we get to the Hatakadash. First of all, I wanted to welcome everyone. I'm not sure everyone knows who I am. My name is Jeff Levin. I am the new senior Jewish educator here at UCF Hillel. Anyone who's been to services or been upstairs has certainly seen me. One of my responsibilities is, of course, to lead Shabbat services and my holiday services, so I'm happy to see all of you here. Tomorrow, for those of you who are intending to come, you're going to hear me talk about the Yamim Noraim. You're going to hear me talk about the actual period of the high holidays. But tonight, I want to talk about something that's a little bit different. I want to talk about the idea of faith. And if you'll excuse me, I've had 2 sick kids at home this week, so my throat is a little bit raw, so that's why I'm drinking water. I'm going to start with, does anybody know who Adam Lehman is? Ooh, who's Adam Lehman? Not someone who works for Hillel. Adam Lehman is the CEO of Hillel. Or whatever his title is, I think CEO. Yesterday morning, I got an email, the whole staff got an email. There was his message for Hillel for the high holidays. And his message was centered around the word hope. I thought that was nice. It was a nice message. He's a great guy. I had a chance to spend some time with him when I was in St. Louis in July. In my mind, hope signifies the idea of optimism in the face of uncertainty. What's Israel's national anthem? Hatikvah, right? That means the hope. It's the idea that perhaps one day there will be a Jewish day. One day that the Jews in the diaspora might return to Zion. It would seem like something that might never happen. It's uncertainty. It's hope in the face of uncertainty. Of course, in the late 19th century, there was Zionism, and then eventually we do have Israel. So that was eventually fulfilled. But it took, as we hear in the song, it was a dream of 2,000 years. Optimism in the face of uncertainty. There's nothing wrong with hope. Hope is helpful. I am, for those of you who have ever spent any time with me, really, a fan of a couple different sports teams that are in the process of rebuilding. I'm a fan of course, the Florida Gators, who are going to win tomorrow night, and a fan of Chelsea, who have done me a very good favor by not playing tomorrow and deciding to play on Sunday morning instead, both of whom are in what seems to be endless cycles of rebuilding. Hope. It's a good thing until it breaks your heart. But faith is something different. Faith, to me, is an idea that it's optimism, but with a certainty of an end result. That whatever you are wishing for will one day come true. Tomorrow, we will hear in the Torah portion, and we'll hear in the Haftarah, stories of women who were unable at first to have children. Right? We'll hear the story of Sarah, and we'll hear the story in the Haftarah, which Melina is going to read, of Hannah and Penina. Hannah, who was unable to have children and had been mistreated by Penina because of it. And we have these stories of the women showing faith that one day they would be able to experience childbirth. Of course, so we have the story of Sarah. And for those of you who don't know, she is Abraham's wife, and she has grown old, unable to have children. And so she sends Abraham to her handmaiden Hagar, and Abraham and Hagar have Ishmael. And then God keeps his promise, and Sarah conceives and bears Isaac, whose Hebrew name is Yitzchak, means they laugh, their laughter. In the Haftarah, we'll hear about, like I said, Hannah and Penina. They are 2 wives, and Penina had been able to bear her husband many children, and constantly mocked Hannah for it. And Hannah goes to the temple of Eli and prays, and she's mouthing the words silently. And so Eli comes to her and thinks that she is drunk, because who mouths the word silently? And says, "Get out of here, what are you doing? You should not be here, you're besmirching this place." And she explains, and Eli says, "No, the God of Israel is going to grant you what you want." And of course, he does. So Sarah and Chana each bear children who grow up to have significant roles in Judaism. This is the faith that something is going to happen that is true. Ours is a religion, as we heard a few minutes ago, that promotes questioning. In fact, not only does it promote questioning, we are basically instructed to question, to probe, to ask why. It's the whole point of the book of Job, right? It's to ask why this is happening. As we move out of the sort of last year, out of 5783, and into these days of into these Yamim Noraim, my hope is that we continue to strengthen our own faith by asking deep questions, not only of Adonai, but of ourselves. We should spend these next 10-ish days seriously engaging in self-reflection, both of ourselves and of our community and of the world. And I want us to reemerge after Yom Kippur, renewed and refreshed and ready to face the year 5784. Shana Tova. We're going to continue on actually the same page we just left with Hatzi Kaddish, followed by the Amida. So we're on page 28. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'almat yivrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayetechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'izmahan kariv v'yemeru amen Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach Yolam olam me'almaya yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damihiran v'yalma v'yimeru amen. We all will please rise for the Amidah. We will chant the beginning of the Amidah together, and then I will give you space for personal prayer. This is an older machzor. For those of you who have been to high holiday services at any time in the last 15 years, you'll notice there are some differences. This machzor does not include the matriarchs. I will include them in my singing, but I just want to point that out that I am not oblivious to the fact that this only has the patriarch. So if you will bear with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Leah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol V'zocher chastei avot v'imahot u'mevii gula livnei bneihem l'man shemaho v'yahava zachronu l'chaim melech chafetz b'chaim v'chaftenu b'sefer hachayim ma'anecha Elohim chayim melech ozer u'moshia u'magen Baruch atah Adonai magen Avraham v'ezrat Sarah atah gibor le'olam Adonai v'chayei metim atah rav l'hoshia Mechakel chayim bechesed, mechayei meitim berachamim rabim, sohomech noflim verofech olim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al kivurot, umido melach. Melech me'mihitu mechayeh u'matzmiach Yeshua micha mocha af harachamim socher yotzra v'chayim b'rachamim v'ne'eman atal hachayot meitim baruch atah Adonai mechayeh ha'meitim. You all will now read silently. You may add at the end your own prayers. Do not rush. When you are done, you certainly may sit down. If you are finishing up, please do not rush. Take your time. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. One more time. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Kaddish Shalem on page 42. Yikadav Yikadash Shemei Rabbah Ba'alma Divrach Hirutei V'yamlich Malchutei B'chayachon V'yomechon V'chayedechol Beit Yisrael Ba'galah V'zman Kariv V'yimeru Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mivorach Ve'olam Olam Me'almaya Yitbarach Yitbarach V'shtabach Yitbar V'yitrabam V'yitnasei V'yitadar V'yitalev V'yitala Shemei Kudashah Ve'la min kol berchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran v'yama v'yimeru tika ba'atzlot hon v'ba'athon dechol Yisrael kadama v'hon d'bishmaya v'yimeru yehesh lama rabba mitshmaya v'chayim alena v'yalkol Yisrael v'yimeru oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom alena v'yalkol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. Doing Kaddish Shalem and chanting Kaddish Shalem reminds me when I was in religious school. I promise there's a point to this. I thought we kind of had a competition to see who would do Kaddish Shalem the fastest. And eventually, the competition came down to me and Landra Gold, who was Hunter's youngest brother. And eventually, Cantor Roebuck from Ohev called us in and said, guys, you got to stop. You're leading services. This is not a competition. This is not a race. I don't know if we stopped, but at least he yelled at us for it. Turn to page 48 and we will chant Aleinu together. Please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol la'tet gedula liotzer breshit shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot v'lo samanu k'mishpachot adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'goralenu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notesh shamayim v'yosed haaretz umoshav yikaro bashamayim mima'al ushchinatu zo v'gav hei meromihim hu Eloheinu reinod emet malkeinu efezulato kakatuv b'torato v'yadata hayom v'hashevota elivavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim b'shamayim mima'al v'yal haaretz mitachat einod. Read silently. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai v'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo Ushemo, Ushemo Echad. Please be seated. Now we will sing together Mishaberach. Mishaberach is a prayer, and we say for a complete healing, or a refuah shlema. That could be a healing, a physical healing. Maybe you are ill. Maybe something is injured. Maybe it's a spiritual, mental, or an emotional healing. This is another song for which we are indebted to the late Debbie Friedman. But if you know it and would like to sing, please, I encourage that. Mishaberach avot Mikor habracha leimoteinu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us sing. Mishaberach imoteinu Mikor habracha le'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us sing. Thank you. If everyone will please rise and turn to page 50 for the Mourner's Kaddish. We rise as one community to support anybody who might be saying the Mourner's Kaddish, who might be in mourning themselves or celebrating a yard site. Yikadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah. V'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich machutei. B'chayechonu v'yomechon u'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'yamru. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei dekudashah. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechamata. Da'amiran v'alma v'yamru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Please be seated. Before we wrap up, we'll sing together Yigdal. Tomorrow, so we're going to go after this, we're going to go next door, and there's a nice meal with nicer cutlery this week, a wait staff, so it's not me serving food. Tomorrow's services are at 10, and then it will be followed by a lunch that will be similarly nice. I'm instructed. Then we will have normal Shabbat services next Friday night at 6:30, followed by dinner. We'll have Kol Nidre on Sunday night, the 24th. I think dinner is at 5:30, and then services are at 6:30 because obviously we'll eat before services. Yom Kippur morning services are at 10. Yes?
You're too far. I can't remember that.
I'm assuming they're at 10. And then there'll be 2 different break fasts. Now, I've been told that in the past there's been some concern among people who wait till the end of the evening to break their fast that there will not be enough food. But fear not. I have it on very good authority that we have ordered more than enough food. So anybody can break their fast either at the 5:30 sort of pre-dinner break fast time, or I think it's like 7:30 or 8 o'clock for the later one. So no one needs to feel forced to break their fast early just for want of food. We will have enough, believe me. If you will turn, please, to page 54. We will end the service tonight with Yigdal. Yigdal Elohim Chai v'yishtabach nimsa v'ein eitz el metziuto echad v'ein yachid כייחודו, נעלם וגם אין סוף לאחדותו. אין לו דמות הגוף ואינו גוף, לא נערוך אליו קדושתו. קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא, ראשון ואין ראשית לראשיתו. הינו אדון עולם בכל נוצר, יורק גדולתו ומלכותו. שפט נבואתו נתנו אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו. לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד, נביא ומביט את תמונתו. תורת אמת נתן לעמו על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו. לא יחליף האל ולא ימיר דתו, לעולמים לזולתו. צופה ויודע סתרנו, מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו. גומר לאיש חסד כמפעלו, נותן לרשע רע כרשעתו. ישלח לקץ ימין משיחנו, לפדות מחכה קץ לשועתו. מתים יחיה ברוב חסדו, ברוך עדי עד שם תהילתו. מתים יחיה ברוב חסדו, ברוך עדי עד שם תהילתו. All right, Shana Tova, Shabbat Shalom. If you all please leave your machzorim on the seats, that'll really help us in the morning. Thank you.